Hello everyone. In today's lab we're going to cover how to import objects into a Maya file. So we're going to import our sword, shield, crate, barrel, bookcase. I think that's all of them. We're going to create a floor with textures and a couple walls with textures. Then once we get everything imported into Maya, all of our objects, and get them placed and all that kind of stuff properly, the next thing we'll cover will be lighting. We'll cover some key points on lighting. Um, and the last thing we're going to talk about is rendering with Arnold. So um, let's just get started. So I'm going to start with a polyplane. I'm just going to scale it to, let's go 24, 24, 24. All right. So it fits my grid perfectly. The next thing I'm going to do, because I don't need all this extra geometry, is I'm going to bring this down to 1 and 1 on my subdivisions width and height, so I don't have all those polys. And the final thing I'm going to do is I'll create another polyplane. I could have duplicated that one, saved me a step, but let's do that. I selected the previous polyplane, Control D to duplicate, or edit, duplicate. So we already covered duplicate special. Duplicate is just creating a duplicate of it. It's not going to do anything special. And then we'll flip this to 90. And what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to hold D and V and snap my vertice down to the bottom right here, so I know it's aligned perfectly with these verts. And I can snap it to the grid, or I can snap it directly to the next set of verts. And now I know it's directly on that side. And I'm going to duplicate that one more time. And this is going to be 90. And now I'm going to, again, snap this. Well, let me do this. I'm going to hold D and V again, snap it to this. Of course it won't work. D and V, try to snap it. It keeps snapping to the other one. I don't know why. D and V. I'll snap it to this one. For whatever reason, it was jumping to this one and skipping this one. I'm going to snap it to this corner, hold V, and snap it here. So now I've got this perfect little staging area, right? So I'm going to add some textures to this. And we all know how to do that. In this case, I'm going to rename this floor mesh. And then all one, or wall right mesh, whatever you want to call it, and wall 2 mesh. Another way I could have done this, I could have just extruded the edge over here and had it all be one object, but I just want to keep it really simple in order to texture this quickly. So I'm going to select my floor. I'm going to hold right click and go to assign new material. I'm going to go to Arnold shader and do AI standard surface. Now from here, I'm going to go to the color, locate my file, click the little folder button under image name, and I'm going to locate my floor. That's a rough map. Diffuse. Open. I'm going to tap 6 on my keyboard so I can see it better. And now I'm going to hope, it looks like this is actually tileable, which is really cool. So I'm going to show you something really cool about this. I'm going to click on this map. I'm going to go into my panels UV editor, and we'll find out quickly if it's tileable or not. Persp UV editor. I'm going to go to my tools, move UV shell tool, select it, and I'm going to scale it. And you'll see, even though I'm not in that 1-to-1 ratio and this object is much larger than it, it tiles it very, very nice and cleanly, so I can get those to be, a sort of an appropriate scale to what I want it to look like. With that being said, I can also try It has a roughness map. It has a, so the, I'll upload the file for you. Under here, it has a displacement map. It has a, I'm going to assume that's the normal map. Let's try adding the normal map. We're going to use as tangent space normals. Click the little black arrow over. Oh, I need to go to desktop. Open. And now I've got my normal map applied to it. And then I can play around and start to add some of these other ones. It said it had a displacement, normal, and rough. So I just want to make sure under specular is probably that roughness map. Let's just put it there and see what it looks like. If not, I'll undo it. I think it did something. And I'm okay with it. And then it also has a displacement map. I don't think I'm going to apply that one anywhere. I don't know if there's any real spot to... I'm sure there's somewhere is the appropriate spot for the displacement map, but displacement maps are a little weird. Under sheen, there's another spot for roughness, so I'm happy leaving it where it was. I think that'll be fine. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my walls here. I'm going to hold right click and assign new material. Under shader, we're going to go to AI standard surface. This is all things, this is all just repeat for us. Color, file, locate your file. Oh, I'm not doing the cobblestone this time. I'm doing this Radiance Ruins wall. We'll try that one. Very dark. Don't know if I like it that much, but we'll stick with it for now. Or this is what it's supposed to be looking like. I'm also going to try this one. Give it a shot. See if I like it better. And you can do the same. You don't have to have yours look exactly like mine if you'd like, but I will include the ones that I'm using in the example for you. Paste. Extract. Textures. We'll try this one. Oh, I'm going to Maya. Oh, and I gotta rename my materials. Okay, I think I like that one better. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna assign the same material. So this is going to be wall, stone, wall material, and it's Arnold material. Color. So I'm good there, and now I'm going to assign the same existing material, stone, wall, Arnold material here, and you'll see that I've got that same thing going on. Now the next thing I can do is under tools, move UV shell tool. I may not be able to get these to be exact once I do this. But you can sort of see, I want to try to get it a little bit larger without it looking too repetitive. So I think I'm going to go right about there. And I'm going to try to do the same thing on this one. To make it exact, I would have to duplicate it, but I'll try to play around with it. I can actually use the grid lines here, slightly smaller. That's good enough. So you'll have something that looks like this. We've got our little cobblestone floor with our rock wall, whatever it's called. What is it called? Rock wall. Okay. So on here, I need to rename this one cobblestone floor Arnold material. Okay, so now I've got my start of my scene started here. I've got the floor. Oh, and while I'm at it, I can add the roughness map. I think it has a roughness map. I'm just basing it off the last one I just did. Roughness. Which one was it? This one? I think it's this one. I'm gonna go with that. Okay, and that should have that already added. Oh, whoops. I added the normal map to that, didn't I? So I just undid it a couple times. Huh. Well, that's not going to really do anything, is it? So I'll leave it for now, and then under bump mapping, use as tangent space normals, click the next one, locate your file. And now I've got my bump map or normal map applied to it. That actually looks pretty good on that. It's a pretty good normal map on there. Really pulls it out a little bit. So I've got everything I need there. I can turn off my grid now too, so I can see the floor a little bit better. See how this is coming out. I think it's pretty good. It looks like, I like it. So now I've got my little scene here that I can start to play around with. So I'm gonna start importing objects. This is pretty simple. File, import, locate your files. Which one is the last one I did? Lab 11. And we're looking for a Maya file. I don't think I saved it in here. Make sure I'm not missing it. Let's see if I can just do... Huh. Let's double check my folder. looks like I saved that file somewhere else. Well, that's fun. So stay organized. That's always going to help you. So, all right, well, we'll start with importing the barrel. So I'm going to import my barrel Maya file first, since I can find that. And import. And now you see, I've actually got a light in here, which I'm going to delete for now. And I can put this barrel wherever I like. So, file, import. Introduction to texturing is going to be the crate. Can also delete that light. So now I've got some objects in my scene. You know, it's a fairly low poly scene too. The highest poly thing is this barrel we made. But let's just keep going. I'm just doing file, import, and then I'm just locating the file. And as long as your textures and everything are applied to it, it'll import with the textures too. I'm just curious. Lab 6. Maybe I didn't save it. That wouldn't be fun. Adding color is the shield. Or no, I meant the sword is what I meant. I'll find a place for that soon. Lab 1 is the bookcase. And that bookcase I'm actually going to make bigger. Now, one cool thing, I'm going to hold D, hold V, snap this to the bottom, and now it'll scale from that point, so I don't have to play around and move it around so much. Okay, and then file. Now, the last one I got to find, this is going to be fun, so it's important to keep your files organized. I don't know where I saved it. Here's the way I can do it. It's under lab 10. Perfect sense. Okay, so file, import, lab 10. I had it mixed up when I saved it out, so we'll try lab 10, texturing the shield. Oh wow, look at that. Anyway, your shield will be imported with an actual texture on it, so I'm going to just work with this. And I'm going to, when I end this video and get into lighting, I'll make sure I have this shield back up and textured again. So I will start by hiding those. And now I've got everything except the sword, unless I just hit it. I did. Okay, so here's my sword. Here's my shield. Try to remember to keep your files organized. And then just place these however you'd like. So, now here's a cool little trick. So I like to keep this little tool settings open for adjusting tools. So you'll notice once I rotate this and then I go back to my move tool, it's only moves on these axes. I can actually change the axis orientation to object, and now it will be whatever the object's orientation is, which is kind of neat. I could mount this on the wall. I could do whatever I'd like. I think this is kind of cool. And in this case, I'm going to go back to my world because I don't want it to go down anymore in any weird direction. I think that's pretty cool. I'll leave it like so for now. The crate. I think how I did it when the old one was, I put this over here. You can really place these however you'd like. If you wanted to, you could even stretch this out, but remember, if you do something like that, it'll, if you don't scale it uniformly and you have this textured, it will distort your textures and you'll get texture stretching where it looks blurry and stuff. So, okay. And where do I want to put this? I'll place this. World on that again. And then I'll put this bookshelf on the other side. Now I've got that right over here. And the sword. Oops, I accidentally selected a bunch of stuff. We are going to rotate this around 90 degrees. And maybe I have this shield saved in another folder, so I'm going to check first. Otherwise, I'll have it textured before the next video. But just to go ahead and show you, and I'm going to place this as if it... Or, you know what? These are probably two of the cooler models in the scene, right? So let's go ahead and give this a little look to it, as if it was placed here as well. But I don't want it to look too manipulated. I want it to have a little bit of a natural look to it, so maybe some twist. And let's switch it to object real quick. Get a little twist out of that. I'm going to switch this one to object to get that like so. And this is more like leaning on it this way. And now I've got all my objects in my scene. And I don't know if this feels too small, but let's go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. Bring that out. So this is what your scene should look like. As long as you imported the right shield, you'll be in good shape. But this is what we're looking for on the first part of this. Just import all your objects. Make sure you import the shield that's textured, all your final objects that you've been working on, because this is basically the start of your midterm. This is the start of your midterm. We're going to have all these objects imported into a scene by the time the midterm's submitted. Be sure to check all the grading rubric requirements, but we're going to take a look at it and make sure you got this basically set up, and now you're more or less, you know, halfway to finishing your midterm at this point. So stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to cover some lighting, some rendering, and I'm going to get this shield finalized so I can have the texture on that as well. So stay tuned for the next one. If you have questions, just shoot me a message. But this was pretty simple. Nothing we haven't done before. We added walls. We did 3 polyplanes and added textures to it. It's literally everything we've done so far. But now we're starting to put together a scene that will work really, really well. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And stay tuned for the next one. Message me on Canvas if you have any questions or concerns. All right. Thanks. See you soon.